Hello, friends. It's John Clan, third of episode 226 of Shadow and Flame of Magic, your premier Kitty Pride, Lockheed, and Magic podcast. And today we're going to deep dive into All New Doop number 5, finishing the mini series. And then we're going to spoil this week's comics, including Spider-Man, Superman 1, Cyclops Volume 4-3, Rogue Volume 4-4, Wolverine Volume 8-19, and very quickly, Infernal Hulk 6 and Hulk Smash Everything 5. So, oh, and then do solicitations for July as well, as we got those. So, All New Dupe 5, we are concluding everything. This came out, and you can follow along on my YouTube and TikTok channels at JackalsIII. November 2014. Uh, Written by Peter Milligan. Artist is Federico Chattagatti and David LaFuente. So I don't know what happened production wise, obviously, but first two issues purely David LaFuente, and then the last three he started getting help from his pals. So that's just curious. Color artist Laura Aldred, letter VC's Clayton Cowles. Cover art by Michael and Laura Aldred. And um, so there is a green potato looking thing that lives with the X-Men. He is Dupe. Previously. After summoning his mama from across the margins, Dupe learned a terrible secret. He wasn't created by film director Ingmar Bergman. The revelation sent Dupe into a full-on freakout, and the only his ex-buddies Wolverine and Tyke Alikar could help him out of it. Um, Karolinska Hospital in Sweden. This is a story of a marginal character called Dupe, the search for roots, a story of time travel, and even the search for love. And you see Mama Dupe. Dupe is fighting Logan, and they just keep fighting it out while he's trying to figure out the secrets. And Dupe Land, beyond the margins, the green one who knows how serious this is, a mental breakdown of this stupidity, of this utter absurdity. He knows it can affect more than Dupe's marginal life, much more. And poor Dupe is having quite the identity crisis as he's being attacked by all of his identities. Very Ant-Man of him, or Hank Pym. So much more. Then we get to the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning, and then Dupe interrupts the crossover, Battle of the Atom, and he breaks out, and then Bling has to attack Raz. And Rachel Summers is there, which is cool. Xavier Jr. is a bit of a jerk. There's this an ad here from Marvel Chess, which I own the Kitty Pride piece of, which is pretty cool. And then Alucard catches up with Logan, and they all catch up with Dupe, who Logan has some news to break to Dupe. Back in the real world, Rachel's trying to just calm everything down, and Xavier Jr. is a jerk. Meanwhile, in the lab, we get to Kitty Pride. Finally. And Kitty's like, Dupe, oh, Dupe. And Zorn, who is actually Teen Jean in the future, she's like, Kitty Pride, what are you doing? I think I know where the problem's coming from. And Iceman's like, well, that's easy to Dupe. I've been there often enough to be able to phase there on my own. You can't, Bobby. I have to do this on my own. And then Kitty phases into the margins. Meanwhile, beyond the margin, you go over an alley car or having a nice hot tub experience, and then Kitty comes up. I do like the exchange of, Tyke alley car, are you pushing your foot between my legs? Hell no. That'd be breaking the hot tub code, sister. And it's just always good to remember that there is a hot tub code, everybody. And Kitty comes out between their legs and says, this is not supposed to be happening. And then Duke returns Logan to the Jean Grey School in the plot. and everyone gets duped, missed. Um, and so everyone sort of reverts back to where we left them off before the previous issue, and Raz restabs Logan, who's healed again. And we get this nice exchange of Kitty and Dupe. And Alucard goes, "Yo, Dupe, look who I found in the hot tub." Dupe! Kitty. I don't know, how does Dupe sound? Kitty, didn't Dupe tell you that moving through the margins takes practice? Dupe, what's all this crazy dupes? Dupe had a melting down, a bad one. And then Logan helped me recover. I guess you would have more of a Slimer voice, right? Logan, how? You found out something that put Dupe's mind at rest about Mama Dupe. So this is Dupe's origins. For so many years, he blamed Dupe, and Dupe blamed himself in making Papa Dupe abandon us. But the truth is somewhat more Dupish. Dupish? Is that even a word? It is now. Papa Dupe never abandoned us, Kitty. Not in the way Mama Dupe said. My papa was my mama. My mama was my papa. That's why you never saw your parents at the same time. You're a, f- you're a family of asexually reproduced hermaphrodites. I always thought Duke was the only boy girl in our family, which meant more guilt and shame. Of course, under these circumstances, we must withdraw our proposal of marriage. This might be a relief to you. Well, I guess a little, but I've come around to you a bit. And then he swears to himself. I mean, you have? I was really touched by what you said about me marrying Bobby, how I'm worth so much more than that. You are. It was very nice of you to say so. That's why I'm doing this. And then Kitty just makes out with Dupe. So whenever people list like who's Kitty's best romance, and I'm like, hey guys, you gotta add Dupe to that list. And they're like, what? And I'm like, are you guys call yourself Kitty Pride fans? Um, because Kitty's been the focus of many series, like Kitty Pride and Wolverine, Wolverine and Kitty Pride, Kitty Pride Agent of Shield. My favorite, absolute favorite miniseries, Shadow and Flame, where we get the podcast name from. Two-thirds of it, anyways. And All New Doop, that's for sure one. X-Men True Friends. Um, Contest of Champions 2. She has a major subplot in the whole thing. Written by Chris Claremont, so that makes sense. I feel like there's another one. Hunt for Wolverine Manipur Nights or Mystery Manipur. Like she's leading the team in that mystery. Um, if I'm forgetting any, just write them in the comments below. Star-Lord and Kitty Pride. How could I forget that one? That's a great one. And yeah. And then she's led like X-Men Gold Volume 2, Marauders Volume 1 and 2. All New X-Men was practically her book, the first volume. Um, Exceptional X-Men, X-Men United. Yeah, I feel like those are the main ones, but I feel like I'm missing a Kitty Pryde focus one. The Marvel Knights X-Men, like where Logan go to a small town. That was a good one. She's largely in that. Yeah. What do you know? The Earth's moving. Dude, let's go back. Back to Dupe space. We're not getting married, but I love experiencing that crazy place. I loved how it made me feel. Why shouldn't I enjoy Dupe life for a while? I mean, who needs the X-Men life? Friends betraying you, others getting possessed by cosmic forces, future me, past me, present me. Take me away from it all, Dupe. You don't really want that. You don't want me or Dupe land. Sure I do. I like weird things. I just kissed you, didn't I? It was the weirdest kiss I ever had. You taste like spicy peanut butter, but I guess I could get used to it. Spicy peanut butter. I never had spicy peanut butter. Spicy honey I've had. That was pretty tasty. Hey, they say if you get bad allergies that you should buy some local honey and because the honey's made in you know, in the same air where it's causing your allergies and that it might work. So farmers market's supposed to start up soon, so maybe we'll try it. Plus honey's delicious. Don't give it to a baby though. Don't shake babies and don't give babies honey for like a year, I think they say. But something about how they're not, their body's just not made for honey. I don't know. I feel like I didn't even know about it before now. And Dude's like, you just want to avoid make. Why did I start reading this? See, it's because oh yeah, it's yeah. You just want to avoid making the toughest decisions of your life. I go on, admit it, kitty. You mean I mean whether or not you should. Oh wait. I mean, whether or not you should leave the school and the people you love and take the original X-Men to Cyclops. Pretty much just telling you, like, this is what's happening. Admit it, Kitty, you can't do it anymore. You gave everything to the school, but it's not your place anymore. I'm not sure I can do that. Kitty, this whole journey's been about showing you what you can do. Really? I thought it was about a marriage proposal and a stinky meat engagement ring. They were just props, my dear. And the Duke's put on a nice little detective's outfit, like a film noir out detective outfit. Duke could have used a bowl of oranges and a job offer. Besides, Duke likes living in the marginalia, and if he was with Kitty Pryde, he would cease to be in the margins. We'd be the main story. Chin up, kid. We'll always have the restaurant army hairy armpits. And he just floats away. The restaurant army hairy armpits? And then she's back with the X-Men. Um, and of course, Excalibur. I mean, that was a Kitty ongoing series. Sometime later, I can't do this anymore. And Storm's like, Kitty? I have given everything to the school. And then the issue this ends. That was the story of Dupe and Kitty Pryde, a story of time travel and roots and love. And do it, it didn't end in marriage or even love. Dupe went back to the margins, and Kitty, she left the X-Men. And for now, that suits them both just fine. And then she joins the Uncanny X-Men cast for a little bit. And yeah. And that everyone's the best part of Battle of the Atom. And my favorite Duke story up there with Wolverine the X-Men Volume 117. Also, Wolverine the X-Men Volume 1, mostly at Kitty Pryde. Ongoing series. And then Ultimate Shadowcat was being made into a huge deal by the end of the Ultimate Universe, the first one. And then Magic's dead in this current one, so no, I don't even care about this second Ultimate Universe. But we're gonna get a what if regarding Secret Wars 2015, and so it's all from Miles's point of view, and hopefully Ultimate Shadowcat's in there because they were together in all new Ultimates, and I think they should. All right, now our main feature is Spider-Man and Superman 1. Um, I got the variant cover of Eric Larson and Edgar Delgado. It's the Cyborg, Spider-Man, and Superman. As soon as I saw the cover, I was like, that's a concept I love. I have to say, this is exactly what I want in these crossovers. Good main story, and the backups have a fun mix of characters. Nothing besides the main story overstays its welcome, and even that maybe just be 3 pages shorter so we can get another backup. The main feature is Our Kryptonite, written by Brad Metzler, artist Pepe Larraz, who we love from Krakoa. Color artist is Matthew Wilson, um, who you'll probably know from Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men. And VC's Clayton Cowles. This comic looks gorgeous, and how could it not be drawn and colored by Larraz and Wilson? Spider-Man and Superman wake up together. Superman isn't at the top of his game as he's being poisoned by kryptonite. Spider-Man doesn't know what that is. Maybe it's like adamantium, which is cute. Superman wastes no time X-raying Spider-Man's waist area to discover an old watch Spider-Man keeps on his belt, which seems like the worst place for that, which how often Spider-Man's thrown through buildings, but sure. Spider-Man and Superman exchange some opening jokes, which is fun. Superman isn't great at it, but he's also poisoned. They're fighting Lex Luthor and Green Goblin. We get a terrific Spider-Man holding up Rebel sequence that we love to see. Spider-Man keeps it just needs a distraction, which Superman isn't great with, so he asks us about motivations. Spider-Man's racked with guilt, but that's what keeps him going. The Venom symbiote is there for some reason, and Superman and Spider-Man exchange some memories. Then we get Venom Man, which is cool. We also see that Brainiac, Doctor Octopus, Electro, Parasite, Doomsday, and Rhino are there. So there's a Sinister Six plus two situation. Still bugs me we didn't get Michael Keaton in Spider-Man No Way Home. The one chance we have at a live action Sinister Six, and we just didn't get it. I like Superman using his own heat vision to start the process getting the symbiote off of him. Then a Hulk inspired thunderclap, and Superman's fully back. The day is saved. Queens, New York. 3 weeks later, Peter Parker's at Uncle Ben's grave and gets a visit there by Clark Kent. He keeps a pair of his father's glasses with him at all times, which also seems like a bad place for it, but with how often he's thrown through a building. That evening, Peter and Aunt May are invited to Smallville, which seems like an expensive ticket, but they get a meal with the Kents, so Jonathan's alive, but I guess it's an old pair of glasses anyways. Ma Kent and May Parker arm wrestle, so that's fun, and that's the story. Yeah, we get Metropolis Marvels, Spider-Man Noir and Superman, written by Dan Slott, artist Marcos Martin, color artist Mutsa Vience, letter VC's Joe Caramagna. I really like the idea of 30 Spider-Man teaming up with 30 Superman. That's a fun idea. They are fighting businessman Lex Luthor, who has framed J. Jonah Jameson as a kingpin of crime. We are treated to a very fun, amazing fantasy 15 homage with Superman holding Lex Luthor. No one lifts a car during this story. Sweethearts is Gwen Stacy and Lana Lang, written by Joe Kelly, art by Humberto Ramos, color artist Edgar Delgado, and letter VC's Joe Caramagna. Gwen Stacy and Lana Lang are at Empire State University in New York. They are talking about their similarities and differences, as well as those things about the men in their lives, Peter Parker and Clark Kent. Superman fights Sandman and Spider-Man fights Metallo. I think it's like a different design, but he definitely is blasting kryptonite from his chest, and there's only one guy I know who does that. Lana redeems all redheads for Gwen, which is cute. Clark shows up covered in sand, and Peter shows up all wet, which is funny. Identity War, Mysterio versus Superman featuring The Thing and more. Written by Jeff Jones, art by Gary Frank, color artist Brad Anderson, and letter VC's Joe Caramagna. Mysterio and Saturn Queen are making everyone angry with a rage-powered Red Lantern. I like it we get a segment with the ever-loving Blue-Eyed Thing. He has to fight off the Legion of Superheroes. Spider-Man and Jessica Drew Spider-Man are fighting off the Legionnaires. Grid mentions Cloak and Dagger or X-Force fighting in Gotham. And I chalk it up to either the Thing doesn't know who X-Force is or who Cloak or Dagger are, or the captions aren't supposed to match the art. Um, but we also get the power pack at Titan's Tower, which we don't see a power pack. And we see Miles Morales, Spider-Man fighting maybe Rewind and Real. It's who's mentioned. I'm like, I don't know who those people are. Of course, you can't have a story about people getting angry and not feature the Hulk. Superman punches Fred Dukes, but doesn't move him. I like that. The gathered heroes are Captain America, Stargirl, Superman, She-Hulk, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and The Thing. So a great group of people, two Patriot characters, two green characters. Like you can see what they were thinking. They all fight the Hulk except for Superman, who's trying to calm the Hulk down. The sun is getting real low. Superman tells Thing that it isn't always clobbering time, which feels like a jerk thing to say. Now Ben has to think about that every time before he says it. I do like the story ending with Ben and Banner eating donuts. There's Ghosting, Hobgoblin versus Steel, written by Louise Simonson, art by Todd Nowak, color artist Rochelle Rosenberg, and letter VC's Joe Caramagna, um, who looks like he just lettered everything, but we'll see. I love whenever Todd Nowak and Rochelle Rosenberg work together, so you know the story looks perfect. For anyone who might think Steel is just a guy with a hammer, he's super smart too, as Hobgoblin keeps trying but failing to outsmart him with tech he's trying to steal. Or steal. There is another guy known for a hammer. We get Thor to help out, which was quite the surprise. They click hammers like Hammer Bros do. Remarkable Ghost Rider and Supergirl, written by Stephanie Willems, art by Phil Noto, letters VC's Joe Caramagna. This was very fun. Is Ghost Spider the type of person who wants autographs? That seems more like a Miss Marvel thing, but Stephanie Phillips would know. She's hoping to see Superman, but gets Supergirl Metropolis. They don't get along, which is, as a reader, I just figure this is how it starts, and we'll get at the end them being friends. They fight Livewire, who seems like a fun villain to pick. Reminds me of the animated series of Supergirl and Batgirl. Noda does a great drawing of everybody, as he always does. Story ends with Supergirl signing the autograph book and a fun callback to the beginning of the story. The One Thing, Miles Morales and Superman, written by Brian Michael Bendis, artist by Sarah Pichelli, co-creators of Miles Morales, color artist Federico Blee, letter VC's Joe Caramagna. Um, oh yeah, I think he did write letter everything. This was also a very fun story. Miles is bored and then sees a giant explosion. Superman asks for his name. He gives his real name and oh, Miles. Brainiac is attacking the city and Superman teaches Miles the most important lesson. Showing up is the right thing to do. This was very short, but tells the full story in like 3 pages. The Wondrous and the Worthy, Symbiotes in Metropolis, written by Jason Aaron, art by Russell Dodderman, color art Matthew Wilson, and letter VC's Joe Caramagna. Jane Thorster, who must be early in her career as the new Thor, is fighting off symbiotes. Wonder Woman shows up to help. I like how Jane's having the thought of say something cool, and all it comes out is you're Wonder Woman, which I imagine she gets a lot. Darkseid has a mix of symbiotes and his cronies. Dodderman gets the chance to draw some of his favorites, which is what I imagine the script called for. We get Batman with Paxton Sword, Ghost Spider, Superman, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, the Peter Parker one, Supergirl, John Stewart, Green Lantern, and Logan. One of those days, Spider-Man and Superman, written by Jeff Lowe, art by Jim Cheung, color artist J. David Ramos, and letters JC's Joe Caramagna. This was an interesting choice to end on. Must be days after Gwen's death, and Spider-Man's having one of those days. Superman shows up and offers some Pa Kent observations. You are born and you die, neither are up to you. It's what you do with your time that matters. You eventually feel better. Good is good, but there will be good days and bad days. Just a hopeful message to end on, but like the origin story, like interesting. Um, all right, and then the rest of the books we're just going to do quickly. Cyclops Volume 4, 3, no magic appearance this week, which is a shame, but also this is Cyclops comics, so it's nice that this is all about him trying to get to his Quinjet with May. The Quinjet explodes, she learns to resist, which was cool. I wish we did get more of her questions regarding Krakoa instead of the tail end of far too many questions. It's got big annoyed at all the questions. Cyclops is on his own as she's taken by the Reavers. The last guy asks, isn't he the one of the honor code? And Scott has a fun response of, that's the one with the claws. Rogue Volume 4, 4. Rogue rescues a nice reporter and her cameraman. Rogue provides a interview explaining the situation so it wasn't a mutant terrorist attack. Rogue fully remembers that she morphed into Sabretooth and had his personality and did attack that guy who is fully prepared to shoot Rogue, who's on her way to apologize. Um, Wolverine Volume 819. Logan is destined warrior and heads off to the Adamantine plot without Silver Sable. She's going to stay behind and protect the new Morlocks, which would be an easier gig now that Logan isn't around. Logan gets completely beaten down. The next issue box hints that we're saying farewell to the Claws, which reminds me that we got spoiled that he was losing the Adamantium, as it must be like 10 years now since the last time, and this is comics, so we repeat the hits every so often. Infernal Hulk 6, Infernal Hulk versus Invincible Hulkbuster Iron Man. No X-Men, but they will be in the next issue. Hulk Smash Everything 5, Marvel heroes finally show up, and there's no mutants to be seen. Next week's comics are going to be Uncanny X-Men Volume 627, Generation X 23-3, which is going to be the last of the Cub Magni drawn art, which is also the reason why we did All New Doop. Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon 3, Jubilee Deadly Reunion 1, and Wiccan's Witches Road 5. And yeah, no new comics were added to the top 10 comics, but and then we got the solicitations. We got an ad for DNX1, um, which everyone commented like, wasn't this supposed to be in September? So I don't know why the solicitations had it, but this is the X-Men Fantastic Four tie-in. X-Men Hellfire Murder. Um, it has a couple variant covers. I want any of them that really spotlights the cat. They offer up Marvel Swimsuit Special Brand New Day, but it's already offered by DCBS. So we use them, which I recommend you do. Only problem with them is that you have to stay on top of their final order date, as if you waited until the July order came up, then you would have missed out on this, and it's hard to get added. I'm gonna get the Dotson cover, even though we don't know what all the covers look like. Godzilla Conquers the Multiverse. First issue comes out. Emma's part of the main team. Maybe I'll get Infernal Hulk 9. It's only 10 issues of the series, so I'm like, well, if I get issue 7, I might as well get 8, 9, 10. What If Star Wars 1, I've talked about. Jeff the Land Shark Superstar, where Mojo captures him. We're going to get a new character, Magic Shot, which is a combination of Magic and Shatter Shot. So that should be fun. And that's also already up on DCBS. So if you're going to order it, now's the time to do it. Moonstar 5 ends, X-Men United 5. I want the Hetrick variant that has like the X ladies on it. X-Men 33. And X-Men 34 comes out. So X-Men's double shipping, as is Uncanny X-Men and Wolverine, which I still do not understand why. I mean, they must have these writers on 16 issue contracts, but and maybe they have to offer that so that the artists will sign on for it so they can write the big name writers. But I just don't think we need 16 issues of X-Men comics every year. Like, or of a particular title. Like, just do 12. Like, it's fine. Like, clearly Jed McKay can write Age of Revelations and he can do DNX. And I don't know. But it's also like, well, hey, if we want to pay Gail Simone dollars, we gotta give her 16 issues. We're like, well, no, because then you're making her work 4 times, like for 4 bonus issues, and that doesn't seem like that's how you justify that price. But I don't know. I can only imagine it's double shipping because of the writers' contracts, but because I can't imagine it's a high demand for just put, well, maybe for Uncanny. Uncanny, I can justify it, but X-Men, I don't get it. But all right, everyone. That I'm just always boggled by double shipping. And double shipping means that I had to buy 2 issues of X-Men. Have to, like I don't have to do it, um but it means I'm buying 2 issues of X-Men. It means I'm not buying another comic of another series. Like, all right. Um, all right. Well, thank you everyone for listening or watching with our dear YouTube friends. Um, you can follow me on socials at JackalsIII on YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky, and then on Instagram, it's S&FwM. Um, and on Blue Sky, but it's mostly the Instagram account we've been using. And um, until next time, don't have any shadows of doubt. Ignite those flames and make like magic and get out of limbo as much as you possibly can. All right, everyone. Until next time. Bye.